Hello, Purple Eagle fans, and welcome to the Purple Eagle Rundown. I'm Carson Harper, and joining me this week is John Reister. Now, John, fall sports are in full swing. What are we seeing so far?
Carson, the vibes are high on the Ridge. We're seeing a lot of student support at the home games this semester. Now, Carson, let's take a quick look at these last week's matchups. The men's soccer team, they dropped 2 matches to Navy and Duquesne, but they came back on Sunday as they defeated VMI 5-0. The women's soccer team, they got their first MAC victory of the year, defeating Mount St. Mary's 3-0. While the volleyball team, they dropped a match to Duquesne. They defeated Robert Morris in straight sets before falling to Copen State in straight sets. Now, Carson, let's take a quick deeper dive into some of these scores.
Yeah, I want to talk about this women's soccer team. They are rolling early and often. 5 straight wins for this team, and this is highlighted by our Performer of the Week, which we'll get into a little bit later. But let's talk about our goalie, Maddie Crosby.
Maddie Crosby's been performing amazing for the Purple Eagles since she's transferred in. She's had 4 clean sheets on the year, as well as 6 saves on Saturday to help lift the Purple Eagles to victory. Added to the 10 saves that she had against St. Bonaventure earlier in the week, she's just been phenomenal, making saves left and right.
Yeah, and our Performer of the Week, it's been Mazza Magic sophomore Isabella Mazzaferro, not only the MAC Player of the Week, but she has scored in all of those 5 games where the Purple Eagles are riding that win streak, and she now leads the team with 14 points. John, let's take a look at the volleyball team so far.
Yeah, the volleyball team took a quick trip to the Steel City over the weekend as they competed in the Chick-fil-A Robinson tournament. The Purple Eagles sandwiched a pair of losses against Duquesne and Coppin State with a win against Robert Morris on Friday. The offense was led by junior Leona Tolliver, who recorded 13 kills in the Friday match. Purple Eagles picked up their second non-conference win on the year.
Now, John, let's head back to the pitch for the men's soccer team, who earned their first victory in dominant fashion in a 5-0 win over VMI. Graduate student Gerard Lopez Forner led the offense with 2 goals and an assist for 5 points on the day. Now let's swing it out to the links for women's golf.
Yeah, the women's golf kicked off their season at the Aga Ming Invitational hosted by Central Michigan. The team was led by senior Marina Heister, who led the Purple Eagles with 2 great rounds on the weekend when she shot a 77 in round 1 and a 79 in round 2.
Now in the world of cross country, they opened up their season with the Little 3 Championship, where both the men's and the women's team finished in 3rd overall. 3 women finished within the top 10, led by freshman Alexa Briggs and seniors Sarah Mueller and Alyssa Matei. A Purple Eagle also crossed the finish line at first, and it was none other than friend of the program, Braden York.
Now, Carson, you had a chance to talk with Braden and Alyssa. Let's go to that chat that you had with them earlier today.
Hello, Purple Eagle fans. We've got a couple special guests for you today from the cross country team. First, we have the 2014 Ontario Basketball Association Grade 4 champion from Welland, Ontario. It's Alyssa Matei. And joining us from the quaint little town of Auburn, New York, the gentleman that just may be the greatest runner in Niagara history. He's got the record for the 5K, the 8K, and the 10K. The son of Brian and Betsy, Mr. Braden York. Braden, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you, Carson?
I'm wonderful. Alyssa, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. Let's kick this off. Braden, you had your first collegiate win this season. That was just a few days ago. We are in the post-race recovery. What does that look like for you the few days after a race?
May sound a little counterproductive, but a lot of running, a lot of miles on the legs, kind of working out the lactic acid, a lot of stretching, rolling out, just kind of getting my body ready for the next couple races.
So not fans of lactic acid?
Not fans.
Good to know. All right, Alyssa, when you are getting ready for pre-race, obviously cross-country is a little bit different. It's a long run. Is there anything you have to prep mentally before the race?
I feel like mentally is definitely one of the hardest parts in running. So really getting yourself in like a zone where like you're not too focused, where like you're stressing yourself out, but using your nerves to kind of like motivate you, and just kind of thinking about what your goals are for the race and just not letting any other like emotions get to you and just think about running out there and doing your best.
Awesome. Now, this Little 3 Championship was the first where a Purple Eagle has come in first in at least 15 years. Braden York, that was you, my friend. What were you doing 15 years ago?
15 years ago, probably playing some Little League baseball, running, probably one of the furthest thing from my mind at that point.
Okay, yeah. Now, listen, we've got a new coach this year, Coach Gray. This is a high-energy guy. What is life like with Coach Gray?
He definitely brings a really positive attitude to our team. He really cares about each of us, like personally as athletes, but also like getting to know us. It's very encouraging to have a coach out there who's just always looking out for like the best you can do, and I think he's going to be really supportive and a great asset to our team.
Now, we talked about the distance and the amount of time that it takes for cross country. Does your mind ever wander during a race?
I feel like when I'm racing, like the last thing I'm thinking about is like my legs because you're exhausted. And I'm usually running with one of my running partners and we're just trying to keep each other going. I'm usually thinking about like what I'm doing after the race. Like usually thinking about getting McDonald's. And anything just to keep my mind off the fact of like how much pain you're in or like how far you are from the finish.
Yeah, and one of those things that you can't control is a run face, right? We've heard of guitar faces, we've heard of all these other different things, but one person that has a great run face is our dear friend, Braden York. And let's take a look at number one. I like to call this one the fear of God face. Braden, can you walk us through what was happening in that specific clip?
So this clip came from Lehigh last year, so senior year. Had a really bad start, slow off of the line. I was probably in somewhere in the 200s place-wise. So just kind of grit, getting back into the race. I think I ended up passing a little over 150 people in this one. So a good race, but this one definitely had a lot of grit in it, just trying to get to where I actually wanted to be.
Yeah, grit is one of my favorite words of all time. That and onomatopoeia. Now, this second one is my personal favorite. You can't put any words to this one. Let's walk me through this one. What's going on here?
So this one here is actually the final probably 120-meter stretch of the conference meet last year. Knew I was in a spot that I kind of wanted to be in. We were in a giant pack up front until the yellow team, Iona, broke away and did what Iona does best. But I knew I was still in a spot I wanted to be in, and I didn't want to give that up. So this was just get me through the finish line, and I can see it. I just got to get there.
Yeah, I got a buddy at home. Could you sign that? Yeah. Thanks. Braden York, Mr. York, New York, Yorkie Peppermint Patty, Triple Tuna Patty Melt. I'll stop the world and melt with you. Utah Jazz. I'm talking double Z like ZZ Top, like Zach Top, who's a big fan of breakfast. Do we have any particular breakfasts that we go to for a pre-race?
Oatmeal.
Alyssa?
I typically have a nice English muffin sandwich with hash browns, avocado, egg, cheese, and chipotle sauce.
Wow. Well, thank you for joining us on the Purple Eagle Rundown. For Alyssa, Braden, I'm Carson Harper. We'll see you next time on the Purple Eagle Rundown.
We'd personally like to thank Alyssa and Braden for joining us on the show this week. Now, Carson, let's take a quick look ahead at this week's matchup for the Purple Eagles.
It'll be a weekend slate of games as Niagara and Canisius will host a women's volleyball tournament here at the Gallagher Center. Niagara will open up against Youngstown State on Friday night and then take on Bucknell at 3:30 on Saturday. The men's soccer team will take on St. Bonaventure on Saturday night at 7 p.m. and the women's team will travel out to Ryder to take on the Bronx at 1 p.m. Now, for more information, please visit PurpleEagles.com. For our producer, Nick and Delicato, Amelia Fadul, John Reeser, I'm Carson Harper. Thank you for joining us on the Purple Eagle Rundown, and we'll see you next time.